Today we're doing an impromptu single item mail video thanks to Alan from Vancouver, Washington. Now, today I was actually setting up to record an entirely different video, but I couldn't remember what was in this box when I picked it up this morning, so I figured I would just open the flap and take a peek so I could remember and plan accordingly. But then, to my surprise, I saw this HP-41CX in the box. Now, I knew Alan was sending an HP-41CX, but I did not know just how phenomenally complete this was. So today we're going to be taking a look at an inbox HP-41CX, and I should be able to get it working. So let's find out. First off, Alan included a note here that I haven't read yet, so let's take a look at this together. Shelby, this is the HP-41CX calculator. I'm not clear on why we had it. My best guess is that my dad got it for his electronics classes at Oregon Institute of Technology in the mid-80s. Everything looks to be in immaculate condition, and even the batteries that were still in there hadn't corroded. And man, is that a good thing. What caught my eye were the expansion slots at the top of the calculator, and saw that there were add-ons that worked with GPIO as well as a barcode scanner for loading programs from the book into memory. I extremely doubt we had any of these accessories, but if I find them, you can be sure I'll send them along as well. Love the channel and keep up the great work. Metric conversion. Alan, if you do find any of those, I would absolutely be thrilled to have them. And as we progress on with this video, I think you will all understand just how functional this calculator is. And it is definitely the kind of thing that would have those types of accessories for it. I have not tried turning the calculator on. I just barely opened this box up enough so that I could look and see if I would potentially have the correct batteries. And I think I do. So let's kind of just experience this all together for the first time here. This is an HP-41CX calculator. And once we get everything out, we'll take a look at more what that means. But here it is. And immaculate is absolutely the right word. This thing is gorgeous. It is in such phenomenally good shape. And these are the module bays that Alan was talking about. And oh my, yes. It's disappointing it didn't come with any modules, but it's also nice that it came with the empty slots, bay port covers. Oh, I'm just so excited. So that's cool to see too. We'll get into more using this in a bit, hopefully, but let's just continue on. We have a quick reference card. Basic Operation 1, Operation, or Volume 2, Operation in Detail, 450 plus 142, so nearly 600 pages of calculator manual there. We have an alternative insert. That's cool. Or is this just an insert? So that lifts up. Okay, so that falls out to reveal standard ones. Okay, so stopwatch. This seems like there may have been a module. I believe this goes to a time module. An accessory guide. We'll take a closer look at that in a bit here. Warranty card. Extended warranties. That is hilarious. Wow, okay. And that appears to be everything in here. It looks like there would have potentially been one module right there, I'm guessing. I don't know. This has a piece of foam in the bottom, I believe. Yeah, to extend it up. I think it's time we get a little bit of background on what exactly this calculator is before we continue on, though. A while ago, I did a video taking a look at this HP Computer Users catalog. This is a catalog that I got with my HP-86 that goes over a lot of devices that HP was selling at the time, including the 41. This catalog is from January 1943, and while it doesn't include the CX, it does have the CV here. So we can get somewhat of an idea of what would be a expected for something like this. So this is what the product catalog would have looked like for the HP-41 at the time. Now, this catalog does not have prices, but we will take a look at a price for the 41CX in just a moment here. But the 41 and the 7075 here were both members of the HP-IL family of calculators. These have modules that go into the top of the calculator here that expand the programming functionality of the calculator. They can contain software or other functions that you can access from software, and they were just an elevated model of calculator as opposed to other ones like this, which is the HP-12C. This is a modern HP-12C, but there were other calculators in that line like the HP-11C here. This is a standard scientific calculator, whereas this is a financial calculator. But the 41CX and 41 were top of the line, like fully programmable calculators that you really got if you had a very specific need to be able to do advanced calculations on the go. This is not your everyday calculator. This may look like an everyday calculator on the surface, like my HP-38E here. These are fairly similar looking, but these are two wildly different classes of calculation device. But there are a number of things that we could get here. So standard applications module, I'm not sure exactly what that would be. There are also cassette drives available for this that would allow you to store data externally as well as opposed to the cards. There might have even been programmable modules that could store data. All right, this one seems right. The 8218OA might be more memory. Same thing over here. And that time module clock functions is what I suspect this cover may go to. Oh, man, the name for these is escaping me right now. It's like what the Atari 5200 uses, the label cover things. But anyway, those are some examples of modules that you would get there. And I bet this is going to have even more of them. So this is from the CX's box, I believe. So this is going to be more applicable. Yeah, advanced programming calculators. Yeah. There is a printer. All right. Whole bunch of documentation available. A wand of some kind. Interesting. A bunch of software. A lot of these are very highly proprietary, like chemical engineering. And I saw one that was like petroleum fluid dynamics or something. There's a lot of weird proprietary stuff here. This right here, this was in the computer users catalog, is going to be something I'm after now. You can get a GPIB interface for this calculator. That's how crazy advanced this thing is. All right. This is a serious calculator. That would allow it to interface to my test equipment. That would just be crazy. Or my HP-85 and exchange information that way. All right. Now, that's all of that. I have one more thing to take a look at. This is the February 1985 issue of Byte magazine, and in the middle of it here, we can see a mail order computer catalog, and I'm not exactly sure what store this is for. It just says computer mail order and then has phone numbers, so I'm not sure who this is actually representing. But right down here, we have some HP stuff. Now, unlike the HP catalog, which doesn't list prices, we can actually see some prices for the HP products here. So at this time, the HP-41CX would have been $250. Now, from my very brief research before starting this video, it was released in 1983 and finally discontinued in 1990. And I suspect that price is fairly representative of what it would have actually cost. We can also see some of the modules down here. That cassette printer, holy moly, is more than a whole calculator. That's kind of insane. Card reader, half the price of the calculator. So this was a really expensive thing to get into. Now, interestingly, when I was looking up the release year to see if I could find an earlier issue of Byte that this may have been featured in, I found out that this time module that I was thinking it may have been used with at some point is actually built in to the CX, and that's one of its advantages over the CV. And it's kind of hilarious to see here the time module is $63, which is more than the price difference between the CV and the CX. So if you needed the time module, it would have made sense to just buy the CX and have it be built in, because then you'll still have 4 free ports instead of just 3. So that's a little hilarious there. Now, since I got my first HP Series 80 computer, I've been fascinated with HP stuff. That's why I picked up a 12C and actually have been pretty much grabbing anything I could get my hands on that's related to HP stuff at the time. So, like, if I see something weird at Goodwill that's a HP device that, like, it seems weird here, I'm gonna grab it. Unfortunately, I don't have anything this goes with. It looks like I'm gonna need to find myself a 48SX. But I did end up grabbing these, and these are kind of important here. So this is an HP-28C and an HP-28S. They seem like they might be more advanced than the 41, but they really aren't. But they are pretty cool here. And they're definitely interesting by themselves. But what is very important here is that these use the exact same type of battery as the 41 does. And I actually bought some to put in here. So it should be possible for us to take these out. These doors are terrible, by the way. They're really terrifying. It should be possible for me to take these out and power that 41 here and see if it works. So I am very excited to do this, actually. I have not yet tried this, so I don't know quite how well this is gonna go. Okay, so you slide this forward and then pull it down. And then, oh, we see here, okay, it's labeled the polarity at the end of the unit there. So it is positive to the positive side there, so that's definitely good to know. Another thing before we put this in there, though, this calculator has a flex cable going to the battery contacts. So it's actually really good that everything in here looks fine. I don't see any issues with it, because if it did go rogue, it would be damaging a flex cable. Now this flex cable, let me get in there and show you. It is actually plastic welded into the body of the calculator, which is very unfortunate, because that's not going to be easy to repair or anything like that. But at least this one looks like it's in really good shape. So, okay, it's time for the moment of truth. These are N or LR1 cell batteries, and they just pop in there, positive, negative, positive, negative, and with that, I should be able to power this. So this is absolutely my first time trying this. Oh yeah, did it just beep? Oh yes. So one of the really cool things about this that it may seem a little disappointing at first. If I bring the HP-38 back over here, I took the batteries out of this, but this is a red bubble LED calculator, whereas this one is an LCD. Now, on the cheaper, lower cost, like let's say the 11C here, being LCD is kind of understandable, but on here, it's a big difference. Now, you just noticed it said memory lost there. You can't do that on an 11C because those are 7-segment displays. These are full character displays. Oh, wow. Okay, let's see. Alpha? What is that? Oh, on blue here, we have a whole thing. So, oh, that's fantastic. Oh, man, this thing is so cool. Okay, I think I need to set up here with a better shot so we can actually try this thing out. The way that this calculator works is through RPN, reverse Polish notation. So if we do 1, enter, 2, plus, we will get 3. And I've gone over this on my very in-depth video on the HP-12C to demonstrate how this works with a stack. Let's do that again, and I will add a visual over here. So we enter 1, and then we commit it. Then we enter 2, and we commit it. and then we enter 3, and 3 is in the most temporary stack right now, but we can still use the other ones that are there. So we're going to hit plus, and then we're going to hit plus again, and as we keep hitting plus, it will go through all of the operations, moving these stacks down. So that's one of the really weird things about an RPN calculator as opposed to an algebraic one. The basic method of operation is kind of different, and it's much lower level in a way that the processor in here would actually work. So if this works like the 12C and 11C here, one thing I'll be able to do, let me go ahead and clear here, and then I'll swap clear. All right, so we're all zeros. All right. Let's say we're going to enter 5, okay? And then I want to store 5, and I'm going to store it to this button, okay? So what we can do now is I can enter 2, all right? And we're going to see X and Y are there. So I'm going to clear the other register. So now we have, actually I need to do 2 enter, and now we see we only have 2 in there, all right? So I'm going to do, we have 2 here. I'm going to do recall that key plus, and now we should get 7. Boom. So you can store variables on any key. Basically, it's kind of weird. And then you can recall them later if you need more storage. So this goes into the increased registers that you could get with the modules, I suspect here. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think they were listed in there, but I don't know how you would access them, most likely through programming. All right, I think it's time that I do some reading because I would like to demonstrate writing a program on here, however rudimentary it's going to be. The one I wrote for the HP-12C was actually pretty interesting, and we'll go over a lot of the same principles, but I just want to very quickly try it on here. Okay, I just spent a bit of time reading through pretty much the entire quick reference guide, figuring, you know, hey, I'm fairly comfortable with the 12C Voyager line of calculators. I can figure this out, and man, this thing is just on such other level. It's incredible. So I'm actually going to be going into the basic operation manual here in a bit to figure out 3 more things I want to show you. But let me just briefly show you one thing I was able to figure out on here. If I do, and this is RPN, so if I do 5 enter to plus, we'll get 7. But now, if I go to user here, I'm going to make sure I've cleared out all the registers. I'll do 5 enter to plus and get 3. What user does is it allows you to reassign the functions of keys. So what I've done here is I've actually flipped the function of plus and minus. So now if I do 2 minus, it'll become 5 again. So the way this works, let's go ahead and bind, let's say, multiply to divide here. So I'm going to go to shift assign, and then I'm going to go to alpha, all right, and then I'm going to do shift X, or multiply, however you want to think of it, and it looks like it's representing it as an asterisk there. And then we're going to exit alpha, and then we need to press the key that we want to bind it to. So we're going to bind it to divide, and then we're good. So now, if I clear this, and I clear that, make sure everything's good, if I do 5, enter, and then we're going to do 2, and then multiply here, it'll be 10. And we've just rebound the multiplication function to the divide key. That's pretty hilarious. The real benefit to that, though, is if we look in the manual here, we'll see there are a lot of functions built into this, and all of these can be coded in by name when you type in something. Well, not that. That's not what I want. I don't know what I did there. When we're typing in the function in alpha, you could type in any one of these in blue here, and that's how you can create a custom layout. So now I'm thinking this may be intended to be overwritten with custom functions. So it'll have all the standard ones on there, but then you can maybe put a piece of tape or something, a label, over that if you wanted to customize the calculator even further with custom functions like that. So that's what I bet that would be used for. So that makes a little more sense because it has this fully user programmable keyboard function. That is super cool. I did not expect that at all. That is a very cool feature. From here, though, there are 3 other things I want to take a look at. When I first turned this on, it beeped, I think, and apparently, if we can figure out how to set the time and an alarm, we can make it beep again. So I want to hear that beep, so I'm going to try and figure out how to set the time and an alarm. And then it also has a text editor built in. I want to see if I can figure that out. And then I want to write a very simple program on here, probably just add 2 numbers together from separate registers other than the X and Y registers. All right, section 6 of the manual, clock functions, and I feel I should probably go ahead and put this in so that these labels make sense here. We can display the clock with that. Bingo. Awesome. All right, so it looks like I put the batteries in 53 minutes ago by that. Set time. Okay, set time. We'll set the clock time using the time you specify. Use a format. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to figure out how to run an actual command here. How to execute functions. Man, it's almost like there's a whole section just dedicated to that, and it was just like 10 pages beforehand. Alpha names. Almost all functions in HP-41, including those that appear on keys, have alpha names. These are functions that are recognized by the computer. Oh, that gives me a delightful tingling sensation for them to call this a computer, because frankly, it just is. It's incredible. Let's see. Any function or program in HP-41 can be executed by using the execute. That is a very weird way of spelling it. Okay, so time is 1323. Okay, so 13.23 execute set time exit alpha. I think it took it. Shift on. Bingo. Oh, the clock is right now. That is excellent. We should set the date, find out if it's Y2K compatible. So it'll be month, day, year. This is currently April, and it is 2022. This calculator is about to have an identity crisis. So execute alpha, exit alpha. It took it. Okay. Now we just have to figure out how to see date. CLK 24, CLK. Okay, so let's do execute TD. Bingo. All right. And then I also want to do execute CLK 24. Because I like 24-hour format clocks. And bingo. Oh, that is excellent. That is really cool. Cool. Okay, let's set an alarm. X, Y, Z, A, L, M. It beeped. Okay. Oh. That seems to be my alarm going off. That's awesome. That's amazing. All right. Text editor. By creating files of text, you can store and edit written material. Text files store words, lists, and messages. Yeah, and that's an Oxford comma right there, as it should be. Using any characters that you can produce using the Alpha keyboard. With the text editor, it is very easy to produce, read, update, and erase text files. That's cool. I don't think that this thing is going to be easy to read text files on one line at a time, and that's not a tremendous number of digits there either. So, yeah, that's something for sure. Interesting. So if you try and just launch the text editor, it will not access a file. To enter text editor, put the name of the desired file in the alpha register and execute ed. Ah, okay. So here there has to be a thing, and then I actually have to make a file first. Let's say I'm going to name a file TT. All right. Now that's in the alpha register. I'm going to go to execute, and then I'm going to make a file. Hit alpha again. That'll create the file TT. All right. And since TT is still in there, I can now execute ED for the editor. And now we're in the text editor. Okay. I'm just going to type in the channel name here. So I'm not sure how it's going to do word wrapping. So this is an interesting test. What? No room. Oh, I have to put the size of the file in the X register. Oh, that's probably why it's so tiny. Okay, so I'm going to make it 5 whatevers. All right. And then I'm going to do, not that, execute alpha resize file. Okay, now it's probably larger. And by the way, awesome. And now I bet I can add more stuff here. What's that going to do? Interesting. Okay. There we go. Alpha. Done. That moves the display. Yeah, okay. This is wild. So there we can see the file being moved through, because here are a list of functions on the calculator laid out here. And then there are the descriptions of the functions. So that's interesting. But yeah, that's it. So I can exit now, and if I want, I can later reopen the file. So if I go to alpha here and I just enter some gobbledygook, whatever, blah, 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 save that into alpha, that's now what's there. If I tried to enter ed here, all right, it would tell me no file not found. But now, anytime, if I go to alpha and I clear this and I enter TT, and then I go to execute ed, it will open the file that says tech tangents. That is pretty weird for a calculator to have a text editor built in like that. But that's the HP-41CX. Lastly, we need to write a program. Now, this might be why I wasn't able to get this working. Voyager series of HP calculators here. This is definitely more function-based, which is really cool. But this is kind of weirdly like rows and columns based. So when you write a program on here, you don't store like the name of the function, you store the X and Y position of the keys on the keyboard that you are effectively re-inputting. So it's more like having an auto hotkey script that will re-perform actions again for you, like a macro. Whereas this seems to be doing actual proper programming. So my experience with programming on the HP-12C may not be fully applicable with programming on here. So that could be part of my problem. To enter, modify, view, or delete program lines, programs must be set the computer. Oh, still, oh, that's really cool. Must be set to program mode. Pressing program once will activate program mode. Okay. Why are there only 214 registers clear? I think it should be 219, which makes me think I may have code in here. Okay, so I'm going to make it 5 whatevers, all right? Okay, I think I got this. I'm going to try and write a program here. I'm going to store 2 variables here. You know what? No, we're going to preload the X and Y registers. That's what we'll do. All right, we're going to create a program that will just add the 2 registers. This should be brain dead, super simple program, and I'm just going to call it add. All right, so program. All right, we're at register 0. We got whatever free. Okay, so I'm going to do label alpha ADD end alpha. Then I'm going to do plus. All right, and then I'm going to do GTO period. Okay, now if I exit program mode and I load in, say, 1 enter 6. All right. Now, if I pressed plus here, the answer would obviously be 7. But what I can do, make sure there's nothing in there, 6, enter, 1. I'm going to do execute. Then I'm going to do add, boom, 7. Program written on the HP-41CX. That was a very rough program. That was not very well done. But that's really wild that you name it as a function that is integrated. It's not just like you have one program here. So I could clearly store multiple programs with different functions and then access them. And then I wonder if you could store, yeah, man, since you can store text files, you can probably store these programs as files as well. This is crazy. This thing is insane. I'm definitely going to have to read through like the whole manual on this to understand it, which is, again, not going to be a simple undertaking here at 142 pages. But man, it is so worth it. This thing is phenomenal. I'm really excited to try and learn this more. Well, I think that's enough for my first ever experience with an HP-41CX. This thing is amazing, and I know I'm going to love it more as time goes on and as I start to collect more for it, because from here I am definitely going to be going after some of those software packs and HPIL interfaces, because just, oh man, there's so many possibilities for this thing now. Alan, I really want to say thank you again for sending this thing. It means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it. But for now, that is it. If you guys enjoyed this video, you may want to subscribe, because I am apparently an HP calculator fiend, and I'm sure there's going to be more content on this in the future, because I keep getting more of this stuff, and it continues to be amazing to me. And if you want to help support the channel, I am on Patreon. But for now, that's it, and I'll see you next time.